Let's get going, Mark. Let's jump in. And thank you, everybody, for hanging around and waiting for us. We're sorry we were late. That was
Absolutely. And so the title of this masterclass, 23 Ways in 23 Days to Land Earned Media and Speaking Gigs Before 2025 Ends. John's not taking off. I'm not taking off. And we're hoping you're not taking off from your goals as well. So we have packed all kinds of knowledge, 23 distinct moments and tips here in this masterclass so that we can make the most out of the rest of 2025. So, during this masterclass, you're going to discover why traditional PR strategies are dead and the news media tactics replacing it. In addition, we're going to talk about the Newshook Formula that got one founder on two TV stations in less than 24 hours and nonstop speaking opportunities since. And we are going to tell you about the absolute exact step-by-step system to position yourself as the go-to expert in your industry. And hint, it has nothing to do with social media. And both John and I want you to meet Atlas Altman. He said, quote, after landing my first news appearance using Mark's system, I started getting speaking opportunities, and now media outlets reach out to me. John, Atlas was at our live in-person event. We do these several times a year at a TV studio near the White House. And he came to us, and man, he just immediately took off.
He did. It was on the way home from our live event that he got those set up. Like the next day, he went into the studio and was a commentator on current events, lauded as an expert in his field. And that knocked a bunch of things loose. And now, as he said, people come looking for him.
This is a great case study for us. It's what we put on the sign up for most of our master classes. He was texting, as John said, on the way back, using the skills we taught him with journalists he had never met before. And it was almost midnight. He does this walking video in the airport saying, I'm just doing this, and I just lined up an interview. He lands after midnight. And later that day, of course, he's on two different TV stations. I remember his amazing resume, John, two Bronze Stars, served in Iraq, served in Afghanistan, served in the White House, a national security expert that I wish I had in my Rolodex when I was at CBS News. This guy needs to be quoted by the media because he can add so much value to audiences. But first, before we walk you through all of that, let us share with you how media mastery experts came to be. We are your coaches. There's John Bates, upper left with Richard Branson, bottom left on the TED stage. And then, of course, us there in the middle with John's trusty lightsaber. You bring that everywhere, John.
I take it everywhere I can. Yes, I do.
There is a great
Always to our trainings.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a great story about that as well. So first, let me tell you about me. For 25 years, I interviewed thousands of experts at CBS News as a correspondent and later then as creating and leading a national investigative unit. Others, other experts I talked to, they never got interviewed. Some got it all the time, others not so much. And the difference wasn't talent. It wasn't social media following or even their connections. It was really something far more powerful. I noticed that the experts who got the most lucrative amount of media coverage and speaking gigs, frankly, were the ones who had mastered one specific thing, leveraging news media appearances into instant authority. And after interviewing everyone from Bill Gates to political leaders, reporting for the White House, winning both Emmy and a Peabody Award, I discovered that the most sought after speakers weren't just experts in their field. They had mastered the art of using the news media to establish their authority.
And Mark, before we go on about me, I'm happy to talk about me, as you know. But one of the things that I love about what you say, and we'll get to it in a minute, but like you wanted other experts. So if you're listening right now, we're going to come back to that. And, for my side of things, I decided about 15 years ago to go become a speaker coach because I knew that I could provide value that way. And everybody told me, don't become a speaker coach. Like they're a dime a dozen, you know? And so I I cried about it for a little while and tried to think of something else to do, but I couldn't think of anything else to do. And I knew something that they didn't. Through my work with NASA, the astronauts, a lot of tech pioneers, places like Johnson and Johnson and General Electric Aerospace, I had uncovered something really powerful, kind of by accident. The neurobiology of influence, why some speakers instantly command news media attention and premium fees while others struggle to get airtime and get booked on stages. So I tested the principles with thousands of speakers, and the results were astonishing. My clients started commanding higher fees than ever before. They started getting booked on much bigger stages, more news appearances, and making a much bigger impact, Mark.
Can I raise my hand just real quick? Where is this picture taken, John? I love this
That
picture.
that is Central India.
And how many people were you speaking to in this room? This looks like a lot of people. Was it 1,000, maybe 2,000?
Well, I'm not entirely sure how many were in that exact close area to me, but there were 750,000 people in the audience. And boy, oh boy, that would like you can feel the energy of something like that. And
Yeah.
it was pretty wild, but that is definitely the biggest audience I've ever spoken to, 750,000 people. It was an entire city listening. It was absolutely stunning. India just does things differently, don't they, Mark?
Folks, this is what we call an overflow room when you have
Yeah.
750,000 people.
So within 3 years, first year, I went further in depth, but within 3 years, I was making more than I had ever made in Silicon Valley. And it wasn't from speaker coaching, it was from teaching the science and the neurobiology of human connection and influence. Now, for the first time, I'm revealing how to combine those neurobiological principles with strategic media exposure, which I know the other side of from Mark, to become the most in demand expert in your industry. So, after helping countless experts land major media coverage and speaking gigs, Mark and I have distilled everything into a repeatable method and process that just works, as you heard, not just for Alice, but for many others. So here's what we need from you. What you're about to learn will change everything you thought you knew about getting news coverage. What we'd like for you to do is keep an open mind and commit to embracing new ideas and new ways of doing things. Does that sound fair?
Gosh, sounds fair to me.
Yeah, good. And if the lag wasn't so big, I'd ask you to put that in the comments. But by the way, if you have questions, put them in the comments anytime, because by the time we get to the Q&A, we'd love to just have your questions already because there is quite a lag. Um, so by the end of today's presentation, you'll discover why one news appearance is worth more than 100,000 followers, the Newshook formula that landed one client on TV two times in just 24 hours and has landed others as well, and how to transform media exposure into premium speaking opportunities.
And so, really, if you want some help, we want to help. We want to be there for you. Both John and I have an absolute commitment to being of service. And so, this slide you'll see a couple times later on. But if you, at any point today in this masterclass, in this hour-long masterclass, if you want to schedule a quick strategy session with us, just 15 minutes, we'd appreciate if you would scan the QR code. Nick, our head of strategy, is going to put in the chat the same link as well. So whether you want to choose the link in the chat or whether you want to scan this QR code, we'd love to hear from you. And I know that Nick's got some time today and Wednesday and Friday and Saturday. Like I said, John, we're not taking 2025 off, and we really hope all the experts out there aren't taking it off either.
No, that's right, Mark. And I know we're going to talk about this, but you were looking for experts. For you listening to this right now, reporters want you. They want to broaden their pool of experts. They don't want to go back to the same person all the time. But Mark, I'm getting ahead of ourselves.
That's okay. And really, John, what you're pointing to is what many people think. You see the same doctor on the morning shows, no matter what the
Yeah.
illness is. You see the same lawyer opining about a Supreme Court decision, no matter whether it's about water rights in the West or it's about immigration law. Why is that? It's not because journalists are lazy, although maybe sometimes are, I might be guilty of that. More importantly, it's because when they get a story at 10 a.m. in the morning or something breaks, they don't have until 8 p.m. print deadline or 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. newscast. Their editor wants them on the news on the website right away with a story. Then they want them on social, then on streaming, then doing the story for later. So a journalist is going to go to the well. They're going to go to their Rolodex. They're just going to call the experts they know. We're going to talk more about this a little bit later, but the experts who will deliver. You, all
Yes.
of you, can deliver. So we're going to talk about that during this hour as well. And here's the truth. Every single day in every newsroom in America, journalists are looking for experts. And you know what else is true? In every community in America every day, experts are looking for journalists. John and I are helping you bring the two together. Journalists are looking for you. You're looking for journalists without having to spend $20,000 a month on a PR firm. We are going to show you how that works. And really, we've boiled it down to a three-step expert authority process. Phase one, the authority builder formula. And what is it? Well, simply, it's a proven system for transforming a single news appearance into instant authority that can command repeat media coverage and even premium speaking fees. John, that's your world. I mean,
Mark,
speaking
I mean,
fees.
I wish I would have known this and done this for my whole career. You know, like because I didn't know this and I didn't do it. And so I have a whole long career that started in 1994, getting tons and tons and tons of media exposure. And I did not do this. I so wish I would have.
And that brings up the next point. Why is this critical? Why is it critical? Well, it's because, whoops, hopefully everyone can see the screen still. John, can you see the screen?
I see why is this critical?
I don't
And
know. There's the preview
it's
here.
okay. Tell us,
It's
Mark,
okay.
why is this critical?
Yeah. So it says why is this critical? I'll tell you why. Because journalists Google you before they are going to book you. They're going to look at your LinkedIn. They're going to look at your website. They're going to look at your bio. If your bio is full of gobbledygook and doesn't have anywhere that you've ever been quoted in the media or seen in speaking, they're going to be really hesitant to put you on TV, right? How do you know that you're going to excel as an expert? And so why it's really critical to make sure that you are maximizing every opportunity. And really, here's why. News coverage is third-party validation that cannot be bought. You can't buy this, you can't sell it. And it instantly positions you above 99% of other experts. And here's the one thing that makes news coverage different. Unlike social media, podcasts, or your own content, news coverage is still perceived as unbiased validation of your expertise. It's
And
called,
Mark,
yeah,
it's called,
earned media.
and it's so important. And I know that a lot of people, particularly younger people, maybe kind of poo-poo, oh, legacy media, all that kind of stuff. But this is something that, as an expert, as someone who is a thought leader, as somebody who is out there making a difference and wanting to elevate yourself as a thought leader and as somebody that people recognize as an expert, it is too important. Don't let yourself fall into the trap of thinking that legacy media doesn't matter anymore. Everything matters. Social media, podcasts, your own content, but news coverage is different.
And earned media, just like the name, is free media you have to earn. You earn this through the value of your expertise. Paid media is when you buy a Google ad, you buy a Facebook ad, you buy billboards, you hire a plane to fly over the Las Vegas Strip. Owned media is media channels that you own or control. So your social media handles, your website, your storefront, all of that is owned media. But earned media cannot be bought and it cannot be sold. That's why it's so important. John?
So, how to execute the authority builder formula? Step one is what we call the credibility stack. Identify your unique expertise angle. And this is something that Mark and I help people with all the time because people know they're an expert, but they don't always know their unique expertise angle. And then once you know that, it's really important to craft your newsworthy positioning. And Mark is an absolute genius at this because he spent so long looking at people doing this right and looking at people doing this wrong as they flooded his inbox. And you must have a media ready bio. That standard bio is not going to cut it when it comes to this.
And that's something that we help both our VIP clients at our in-person events. We do a media done bio for them, a media ready bio, and we do it for our Catalyst clients. We have a Catalyst PR Plus service we'll talk about in a little bit that helps you one-on-one get those engagements. And a media ready bio is so crucial. Don't just send a journalist your corporate bio with a bunch of big words. It's just not going to land or position you the way you want.
So step two is the Newshook template. Yes, there's a template. Find trending topics in your industry, connect your expertise that we've now identified your unique angle with to current events, and position yourself as the go-to expert that they are going to call first.
Sorry, John, I hit the next slide too fast. Apologies.
No, no,
Live
that's okay.
television.
Step three, the producer pitch. So this is important because if you don't understand what's going on in the newsroom, if you're not in their world, then you're going to be way behind the experts who do understand that. So you've got to reach out at the perfect time. Mark's going to talk about that. Then you got to follow up effectively. And we coach people in our coaching community all the time about both of those, as well as the third here, adding value. How can you add value? And when you understand, you can do it much better. So, can you see how this one shift in positioning could transform your visibility, could amplify your influence, as we say? So, here's the authority builder formula recap. Let's look at how exactly to turn that news coverage into more media opportunities. Phase two, the media multiplier method. So, what is it? This is the exact system for turning one news appearance into multiple media opportunities and speaking engagements, even if you've never been on camera before or charged for speaking. And it changes everything. Here's why.
This is one of those slides, John, that's blank, and I don't know why, because I can see it on my screen that it's full. It's a bit, I don't know, maybe I didn't put my quarter in, but why it
Yeah,
changes everything is because most experts, they waste their media appearance. They absolutely waste it. They don't take advantage. They don't know how to leverage that coverage, and they miss a critical. Oh, you,
that was
John.
me. That was me. No, no, no. What you're saying is exactly what I did for my entire career. I just squandered it all. So keep going.
I love that insightful vulnerability.
Yeah.
That's what John says all the time. It's a great phrase because the audience wants to identify with you. And so thank you for sharing, John, your insightful vulnerability. And so often experts miss a 72-hour critical window and they fail to maximize every opportunity. So let's take a look at the 72 hours, John.
Okay, so here's the 24-hour rule. News coverage has a short shelf life, but there's a specific window where its value for amplifying your influence and getting more journalists to bite is at its peak. And I did not know that. Most aspiring experts make this critical mistake. I did. They wait until this segment airs before taking action. By then, it's often too late. And Mark, you've helped me because I'm going to be on NPR in Utah next Friday. And so I'm going to be posting about it this week. And I'm, exactly like we're talking about here. So what I used to do is wait, but by then it's too late. So here's what the pros know that Mark taught me. The real opportunity isn't the news segment itself, it's how you leverage it in the 72 hours before and after it runs, airs, or publishes. So here's the critical shift. Stop thinking of news appearances as one-time exposure. They're assets that can be strategically deployed to create multiple pieces of content, invites, and revenue streams. So here's the three-part media multiplier system.
Step one, immediate. I mean, we're talking immediate leverage, getting behind the scenes content before it airs, which means when you're going to be in studio like this picture of me, bring somebody with you. Get the content both vertical and horizontal that you can use in posting, right? You want that behind the scenes content. Then create strategic social media clips. Don't wait until the story airs. Start posting, unless, of course, the media outlet tells you not to. I'll smile for you, John.
Yeah, we're getting behind the scenes content.
Perfect. See, we follow our own advice here and alert the network, your network, that momentum is hot. You see how you are starting even before the story airs. Now, step two, strategic outreach. Contact journalists and event organizers with perfect timing. John alluded to this a moment ago. Here are the best times to reach out to a journalist. Journalists in most newsrooms meet twice a day. There's a morning editorial meeting and an afternoon editorial meeting. The morning meeting is for the day part newscasts, 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon, 1, all the way typically through the 6 o'clock news. They normally meet between 9 and 10 a.m., which means if you've got a story for that day, your pitch needs to be in the journalist's hot little hands by the editorial meeting in the morning. And the nightside crew handles newscasts 7 through 11 o'clock at night. Their editorial meeting is normally 2 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So you sending a pitch at 8 p.m., you sending a pitch at 11 a.m., generally speaking, you want to make sure your pitches are present at that morning editorial meeting. And finally, number two, using our as seen on template. Any speaker or any expert whose website, bio, LinkedIn, etc., has an as seen on section has instant credibility, right? You've been seen on all these different places that you put the logos on. That has a ton of credibility. And number three, position yourself as the obvious choice for a journalist to interview. And step three, authority amplification, turning one appearance into multiple bookings, creating compound credibility effect, building unstoppable momentum. Don't just post saying, thanks to Mark at CBS News for having me on today with a link. Nope, that's one post. Instead, you're going to take that one appearance. Let's say you have 2 or 3 sound bites in the piece. Each sound bite will be a separate post. So you're going to do before the story airs with behind the scenes content. You will then do a post per sound bite, and then your thought leadership perhaps at the end, and then sum it up with the total story post. You can get 4, 5, 6, 7 days of posting out of it. That is building, as we say here at the end, unstoppable momentum. So the critical shift here, John, is summary. We want people to post about it before it airs or publishes with behind the scenes photos on set, right? Take someone with you
Yep.
during the segment, and then for at least 48 hours after, one soundbite or quote per post. So that's a total of 72 hours, 24 hours before it airs, 48 hours after. John?
I mean, and I am so guilty of not doing that. So I can see, I wonder if you can see how this system could transform your positioning as an expert and as a thought leader, and even as a speaker, because here's something many people don't know, Mark. I was taught this by a coach a long time ago, and it really made a difference. People don't really want to hire speakers. What they want to do is hire experts who speak about their expertise. That is a critical shift. And this all makes an enormous difference for you as an expert who speaks. So, phase three, here's the presenter's power matrix. What is it? It's it's the essential communication skills that transform you from a typical expert and speaker into a must-have expert who commands premium fees. Mark, you know that I worked recently with an NSA Hall of Fame speaker who came to me after seeing my work in a workshop and said, John, I make $25,000 a speech right now. I know that I could be making $50,000 a speech, and I think you're the guy who can help me. And
Wow.
we worked together, and he was thrilled with the results. And he is out there speaking now, making much more than he even was making before. So, these things make an enormous difference, even at that high a level.
And this is not a rhetorical question for everyone listening right now. Who wants to make $25,000 per speech and then go to John to make 50,000? Hello, can we all raise our hands? Hi. That's me. I mean, that's incredible, and that speaks to John, who I often fondly say is the TED Talk coach to the stars. I mean, this man actually trains celebrities before they're giving their TED Talk. Imagine what he can do for you. It's incredible, John. So,
So, why this matters, Mark?
and why this matters, again, this slide is on my screen, so I don't know why it's not on everybody's screen.
Zoom
Maybe
is
it's those
not
gremlins.
cooperating.
Yeah, maybe it's those gremlins that cause us to be a little late there in the beginning. But essentially, why this matters, four reasons. One, because media exposure can open doors. Two, you have to actually hustle to keep those doors open. Number three, you have to master the skills we're talking about to consistently deliver. And you have to turn those one-off gigs and media interviews into long-term opportunities.
So, what most experts miss, and I see this over and over and over in what I do and have done for at least the last 15 years, which is work with really high skilled technical experts, but technical expertise alone isn't enough. The most sought after experts and the highest paid speakers understand what I call the neurobiology of influence. And Mark, it's like, the famous saying that I repeat over and over is communicating with human beings is not logical. You may have noticed it's not logical, it's biological. And that's what I call the neurobiology of influence. And it is just super important. So here's the real secret, it's not about speaking techniques, it's about human connection through strategic communication and understanding the neurobiology of influence and how to apply it to everything that you say and
And we
communicate.
really call it the essential communication matrix. And step one, it's camera command, mastering your message, owning your on-screen presence, turning that nervous energy into authentic power. We work on this on set at a real TV studio near the White House for our boot camps, which John and I co-host several times a year. Everyone does this mock newscast with me. We work on this. Everyone does a mock podcast. Everyone goes on stage. We'll talk about that a little bit longer later, but on camera command is really key. And number two, message mastery, crafting those compelling sound bites, structuring magnetic stories, not just stories, magnetic stories. And so important, this is something that people forget, creating unforgettable moments. Anybody can talk about labor rates. How are you going to do it so that it is unforgettable? That's really important. And then step three, look at that smiling guy. Professional presence. John, you exude professional presence, right? You develop your executive presence, you help others do so, so that you can command any room and project, like John's doing in this awesome picture, projecting natural authority.
So, can you see how mastering these skills would make you the obvious choice for journalists to call and for event bookers to call you? And when they're calling you, it means new clients are calling you as well. So far we've covered the complete system. Step one, the authority builder formula, how to get featured on major news outlets, the exact template producers respond to, and how to turn media exposure into instant ongoing credibility. Step two, the media multiplier method, leveraging that critical 72-hour window, turning one appearance into multiple opportunities. And all of that stuff has a long tail on the internet, and positioning yourself as the obvious go-to choice. And then step three, the presenter's power matrix, mastering authentic communication, commanding any room or camera, and delivering consistently powerful performances. So together, these three steps form the complete system for becoming the most in-demand media expert in your industry.
And now we're going to connect you with journalists. Now, shh.
Right.
PR firms don't want us to tell you this next secret. They want to be paid, of course, a lot of money per month to do this for you. But we're going to give it to you right now for being on this free masterclass. Again, John and I feel like we are in service to try and get more experts to be a resource for journalists. Because, quite frankly, as we've talked about, that is a problem. Journalists don't have enough experts. They go to the same ones and they don't have the resources to find new ones. So we want you to be in that position. So,
And we want more diverse voices to get heard and more diverse opinions and points of view.
right? Diversity in every sense of the word, industry,
Yes.
income, geography, all of it. So
Yep.
do this now. Sourceofsources.com. You see the URL on the screen, sourceofsources.com. We have no connection to Peter Shankman, who runs it. We don't get a dime from this. It's just that good. And so we train all of our clients on how to use it. We recommend they do it. It's one of several sites that we recommend. Very simple sign up page, your first name, your last name, your email address. That is it. They don't spam you. You hit subscribe, and then you get emails like this one several times a day. This one says, Good morning, Monday. A good Monday morning. We've got updated queries from, and it goes into all these topics: general, business, finance, biotech, healthcare, education, energy, entertainment, media, lifestyle, fitness, public policy, tech, travel. And at the very bottom, you see here in the email, it says, Queries this morning include USA Today, National Geographic, US News and World Report, Forbes. Now, of course, who on this masterclass would love to be quoted in some of those organizations? That's exactly. John would, I would. That's fantastic. And so signing up with sourceofsources.com is a very easy way to start getting media coverage, start interacting with journalists. But do not do this one thing when you reach out to a journalist. You found your story, you found a journalist, you found a media outlet to pitch, right, on sourceofsources.com or elsewhere. But then, unfortunately, you make a crucial mistake, one that will lead a journalist, like I was for 25 years, to delete your message. And trust me when I say I've deleted tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of messages from people trying to pitch me. Here is the cardinal rule. Do Yeah, right. John is making a sound effect of a record scratch because often when I say this in a room, when we're training companies and different industries together, people have this shocked look when I show this slide or a slide similar to this. And it says, do not pitch your product, your company, or your brand. Let me repeat it. Don't pitch your product, your company, or your brand. Cue the record scratch. People are like, whoa, 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 Mark. Yep. They're like, if I can't pitch my product, my company, or my brand, how in the world am I going to get my product, my company, or my brand quoted in the media? Unless you are Apple or Microsoft or Google or somebody, no journalist is going to respond to you saying you're having a 20% off sale. Here's the secret. Instead, we want you to pitch your expertise. Your expertise. Here's an example. The end of the year is coming up, New Year's Eve. Guess what, for example, a tax preparer, an accountant is going to be doing 7 to 10 days before New Year's Eve, later this month. They're not planning their getaway. They're not planning their vacation. They're not planning how to toast on New Year's Eve when the ball drops. Instead, the savvy accountant, the savvy tax preparer is reaching out to journalists with a pitch, something like this. Top 5 things to do now before the end of the year to save money on your taxes. Top 7 ways to invest right now to get a credit on your taxes before April 15th, using a date on the calendar, December 31st, tips that they know in their expertise, right? Tax savings and urgency for consumers, the audience to take action. That would be a way that they're pitching the expertise. And then, of course, if a journalist picks this up and quotes them, they're going to mention that John Bates, an accountant at Bates Accounting in Salt Lake City, Utah, says, boom, 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 boom. You'll get the information in there, but not by pitching your company or product or your brand. Instead, by pitching your expertise. So
We just had a NASA expert help a reporter out with all kinds of insights on drones because they're such a popular gift item. Bingo.
exactly. That's the way to go. You're pitching your expertise. So now you know where to go pitch, where to find journalists, but how exactly do you pitch? John and I are giving you right now this one-page PDF, the ultimate media pitch checklist. Just scan the QR code there. If you can't see this QR code, no problem. We will put a link in the chat for you, or just send us a message. We'll get it to you. This five-step process is exactly how you are going to pitch. I want you to follow this template, follow this guide right here, and that will help you to pitch. John, we are going to say to the crowd watching right now, we want to know if they are getting new insights so far. Are you starting to feel more clear and comfortable with how to get news coverage? Are you learning something? And do you want to hear how transformative this can be for experts just like you? Well, what we've shared today is simple in concept, but nuanced in execution. John?
Like most good things, it's not enough to simply understand the concepts. You need to actually apply them to your own situation. So, if you'd like some help with that and some support, schedule your complimentary fast track media strategy session with us using this QR code. And we will also put a link in the comments as well.
And thanks to Carolyn and Nick. So Carolyn is just such a vital part of our team, and Nick's our head
That's
of
right.
strategy. They are posting the link. They did a little bit ago. They'll post it again here so you can
Thank you.
schedule it with us. And during your
Yes.
strategy session, you're going to explore if our program, our concept, our media training and public speaking approach is the right fit for you for getting free media coverage while also getting clarity on your unique path to becoming that premium speaker. We'll uncover your biggest opportunities for media exposure and how to leverage them for maximum impact. And you'll walk away understanding your current position in the market, your biggest barriers to media coverage, your message, your method, your aggressiveness, and your fastest path to becoming a go-to experts. And you'll know exactly whether our system is the right fit for helping you become the most in-demand expert for media covering your industry. And really, at the end of our call together, if it makes sense for both sides, we may invite you to Media Mastery Experts Live. John, what is it?
It is what we call an immersive 3-day done for you experience in Washington, D.C. So you'll come out and you'll master your on camera presence through hands on training in a professional TV studio next to the White House with none other than Mark Albert and his famous voice. And, one thing that's really good about that is when you do that, your unconscious will know that it's not going to kill you. And the next time you do it, you're just going to be a lot more relaxed and you'll do, a great job. And then you'll come work with me on your public speaking and your executive presence with a 36-time TEDx coach. And then we'll talk about high impact media strategies for you. Plus, you'll leave with LinkedIn tips from a top voice pro. She has made an enormous difference for both Mark and myself and all of our experts. You'll have on camera confidence that you can command frequent media invites. So, it's funny, once you are clear that you can do that and you're not like, there's not that resistance that's sometimes there, it seems like they show up way more often. And you'll get professional footage, which is key of you in the TV studio, you on a video podcast with an NPR host, and you on stage delivering some of your key lines, getting coaching from me. And when we put that all together, it shows the media that you've got the complete package.
Look at us, John. Look at that
There
guy
it
on the
is.
on the right. That's an
It's
energetic
John.
John Bates right there, right? And we are saving a chair for you. That's the chair we're saving right there in the middle
That's
picture.
right.
And John, let's talk briefly, bottom left corner. That is
Yes.
Dr. Marga Macias, 30-year pediatrician. You have known her for a while now. And remember, we were trying to convince her to come to our live event, and she was like, "Well, I could come, but I could never do the on-camera bit." You remember that, John?
I totally remember that. I worked with her for a while. I was teaching for Les Brown's organization, and that's where I met her. And I knew that she was committed and she wanted to get out there and do more speaking and be more recognized. And she was scared and didn't think she could do it, Mark.
Well, you know what? This picture was taken about 4 seconds after we ended our live to tape interview. Look at her face. A combination of euphoria, exhilaration, joy, confidence, accomplishment, relief. That's going to be you. That's going to be you. And it is proof that it can happen for you. And really, this is happening steps from the White House. We want you to join us in the heart of the nation's capital for this experience, which will absolutely transform your authority, your influence, your speaking career forever. Margaret John just posted today, and she said that coming to our event and taking our course, our online course, which we'll talk about in a minute, was the best career decision she ever made.
And
Wow.
Mark, that is not about us. That is about the person who's listening right now. That is about you. That is about you and your expertise and taking that next level. Mark and I, we're here. We're awaiting you. And we are thrilled about the opportunity that we have to make a difference for someone like Marga, who, would say that this is the best career decision she ever made in her life. I'm so honored. And I just want to do that for more and more and more people, Mark.
And our Media Mastery Experts program are perfect for you if you want to command free news media coverage, but lack the know-how of how to do it. If you're watching other experts get the quoted attention that you could be getting, and if you've really achieved success in your field, but you haven't really cracked the code to getting journalists to call you, we want you to be like Atlas Altman, John.
And let's read this again and then I have something to say. But, Atlas said, after landing my first news appearance using Mark's system, I started getting speaking opportunities. Now media outlets reach out to me. That's the goal. Now, here's the other thing I want to say, Mark, because yes, if you haven't got a lot of experience, then that live event is going to be really, really important for you. Getting that live footage, being able to put together a great reel. And if you're already good, we can make a huge difference for you. How much better could you be, right? And when someone's really good, Mark, you and I have both seen it. We've worked with them. Small hinges swing big doors, right? It's not like we haven't made an enormous difference for people that were already getting lots of press. We have. We've made a huge difference for people that are already getting paid $25,000 per keynote. And so wherever you are in the spectrum, I think this is really worth considering.
And John, someone on our team just told us we've had several people now download the Ultimate Media Pitch Checklist. So if you missed that, let us know in the chat and we can get that link to you and that QR code as well. But right now, really, John and I can talk on and on and on really about this. But what's most important are when people talk about it in their own words. And so John and I want to share with you a 90-second video. It's only 90 seconds. And it really explains exactly what we do, but it's not us talking. It's not our voice. It is from the people just like you
Well,
that
and
we
these are not paid actors. These are actually people who came through our program, and we had an open house, like a fireside chat, and people could say anything they wanted. And
yeah,
this is what they chose to say without any prompting from us, right, Mark?
exactly.
But I remember you specifically saying, both of you, we're not going to let you fail.
Yes, yes.
And so I said, okay, I'm in good hands. You took the time to make us feel comfortable. You took the time to make us do it the best way possible.
I remember when you did this the first time, I said, please do a second one.
You made it worth every single solitary penny. You brought it home.
What I love and notice is the perfection of diversity in your room, just like it was months ago when you did the first one. The fact that there are people from all over the world, not just all over the country. Yeah. You attract the best. You know why? Because you are the best.
It's relit the spark in me that I had lost. And I'm very, very appreciative because now I have this hunger in me to just want to get out and speak to anyone who will listen.
Everyone who interacted with us here has been simply amazing and generous. Yes. Like truly, truly generous with who you are and what you have to offer to us.
Just the way you're able to put somebody at ease to come into that room, that was amazing. This whole experience, trying not to cry, I've made so many human connections, and I'm so very grateful.
I can't really tell you how much you have changed my life in this past couple of days.
Thank you so much for seeing us and for really bringing out the best in us.
That is transformation.
Wow.
That is why we do what we do.
Yeah, and Sam said it best, right? We've transformed him in just 3 days. And so in the remaining 8 minutes, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. We'd love to get to them. We also want to tell you about our online course and our group coaching community. So if you can't come to a live event, we want to see you every single week. It's a 9-week online course plus a bonus week. We've got video modules, action items, resources, tip sheets, and more with weekly live group coaching calls with John and me. We've got high impact media and speaking strategies, daily access to team support, and you'll get your origin story, which John is a master at weaving, your TED-like talk outline, your story pitch using our proprietary template, how and where to pitch journalists, and access to extended coaching support, and an invite, of course, to our event. And here's the big news that John and I want to reveal right now, which is we've got a year-end promo. We told you in the beginning, 23 days until 2026. There's no need to quit now. Don't stop now chasing your goals. If you want to master your message and amplify your influence, we are ready, we are working, and we're not sleeping until New Year's Eve. So right now, if you want to come to our event and you book a ticket, whether general or VIP, use these promo codes. You can chat with Nick in your 15-minute call. Year-end 500 gets you $500 off. Year-end 750 gets you $750 off. And if you prefer the online course because of your work and your life and your commitments, we will take, John, what do you think we should do? 30% off, 40%,
Wow.
or, 50 is pretty rich.
Let's do 50% off, Mark. And here's a big part of the reason why. I love it when people come to the online course first and we get to really dig in and work with people over time and they get to practice and prepare. And then they come to the live event and boy, they're coming in already at top speed. So I want to make that kind of a configuration as possible as we can make it. So I'd love to give people 50% off the online course and then still give them those savings on the live event. Can we do that?
Wow. It is the spirit of giving, right? It's the season of giving. So
it is. Yeah,
let's
that's
do it.
true.
Let's do it, John. All right. So the online course, if you use the promo code year-end 2025, we will take 50% off the course. And then for the event, and we'll even let you combine them. And actually, John, if somebody wants to get both together, we take 1,000 off as a package. They want to buy the course and the event together, we take 1,000 off. And also, John, I remember back to December of last year, December of 2024, we raised prices after the end of the year.
Yes.
After December 31st, I remember we raised prices at the beginning of the year. And so, we're not making an announcement today.
Everyone's been raising prices on us. So
I know,
in our
right?
whole lives, right?
Yeah. So we're not making an inflationary announcement today, But if you want to lock in what we're doing right now, these are some promo codes. We're going to sweeten the deal for you to the end of the year. 500 off our general event registration, 750 off VIP. And because John has a heart of gold, 50% off the course. So, next steps, we want to hear from you. Let's give you some help. Let's chat about it. You've got questions, we've got answers. Please schedule your complimentary 15-minute fast track media strategy session with us by scanning that QR code. We want to talk to you. We want to say hi to you, and we are not sleeping on the rest of 2025, are we, John?
Nope. And Mark, I just want to be really clear that I understood you right. So if someone does want to do what I think is the most awesome thing to do, and they join our online course, we'll give them 50% off. And we will give them, instead of $500 off or $750 off, we will give them $1,000 off the live event.
Yeah. Yes.
Boom.
They buy a ticket. I mean,
Boom.
that's crazy, right? But it's the season of giving. And I
Yep.
just want
Let's
to take
do it.
one, and I want, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And I want to take one moment here to recognize everyone who is joining John. They put in their cities: Pasadena, California. I'm from nearby Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Houston, Texas, Spokane, Washington, Boston, Germantown, Maryland, just outside of where I am here in DC. I mean, just so impressive that everyone would spend 60 minutes of their life. And we hope we gave you 23 tips for the 23 days remaining in 2025 so that you can
Well,
immediately start mastering your message.
and make sure and get that downloadable that we made. That's got to at least be close to 23, and hopefully that, with everything we said here, will be more than 23 good, useful, actionable tips.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do is, just in case for some people they didn't see the QR code right now, I'm putting in the chat the link to the Ultimate Media Pitch Checklist. So there,
Great.
I just put it in the chat, and if you want, you can grab it right there and download it as well. We've already had a lot of people throughout the masterclass here downloading it, but for those who didn't get it, there you go.
And we say and we mean what we say. We're doing this to make a difference. And I hope that whether we get to work with you ever one-on-one or in person or live or not, I hope this has made a difference for you, because that's what we're here to do ultimately, is make a difference for you. And if it seems right to you to come join us and to get our eyes on, you know, uh, I remember when we met and started to talk about this, Mark, it did not take very long for us to realize that we just needed to do something together, because I think what we provide, there's a great little Venn diagram overlap, and then we each have our own expertise outside of that. And the difference that we can make for experts and for people who've got something to say and who've got something to that they want to be heard to make a difference in their world, it's just phenomenal.
Well, and what we will do is we'll also put that testimonial video in the chat so that people can watch it. We only have 25 seconds left, John, and I just want to say we're so grateful for this year, for all of the experts who have let us help them reach new heights, right? Newsweek, international news channels, networks, and everything, getting on bigger stages. We're very grateful for them, and we're very grateful for all of you for joining us today. We hope you have a wonderful holiday. Happy New Year, and we want to help you today. If you want to join us, join our course. Our office hours, our next live meeting is tonight.
That's right. You could be there. So, Mark, I'm going to try and get them all. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. There's a whole bunch more, right?
Exactly. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're done.